All right, yeah. So we are still in Monopoly, and last week once again we talk about this diagram here, and we know that it's an imperfect competition diagram. So yeah, it's basically a recap, right? So yeah, for this diagram here, you must know how to draw it, and you must know how to play around with this diagram. Okay, there are so many outcomes in just one diagram right here, and you need to understand, okay, how you can play around with this diagram in order to show different results. Okay, right? So yeah, later on I'll ask you guys to draw this once again. So yeah, and we'll see. Okay, if you're not so sure if you are drawing this correctly, you can just capture a photo on your mobile phone, and then you send it to me through WhatsApp. Then I can take a look of your diagram. All right. Okay. Yeah. So last week we were focusing on natural monopoly. Okay, if you still remember what natural monopoly is, it's a very special kind of monopoly because we know that in natural monopoly, it's more efficient to have just one firm to supply to the entire market than more than one firm. Okay, right? Yeah, because we assume in natural monopoly that monopoly is big enough or is efficient enough to supply to the entire market, right? There are so many examples. Usually, we will use the examples from the utility industry, okay, because of the nature of those companies, right? So we talk about like why they can do that. It's because they have a very huge fixed cost. Okay, think about the pipeline once again. Okay, it's more efficient if you just have one firm providing to the entire city than more than one firm. Okay, yeah, having a few sets of pipelines, going over the cities, and they are sharing their market share. Okay, and that's why, right, if you do that, you cannot cover that huge fixed cost, and it will be a wise choice if you do that just by yourself. Okay, because if you do that, then you can dominate the entire market, so your cost will be much lower if you can supply to the entire market, so you can utilize your economies of scale, okay, to the maximum level, right? That's why those natural monopolies, they are so efficient. Okay, just one company in the market is more efficient than more than one company in the market. Okay, right? So that is natural monopoly, and yeah, and the reason we know that competition is not desirable is because you see here competition. When you see competition in natural monopoly, using the example that we just did, right? Water company, yeah, you will see some wasteful duplication of resources, like a few sets of pipelines. Okay, yeah, a few water stations. Yeah, but at the end, when you think about it from the society perspective, it's wasting resources. Okay, it's wasting resources. Um, I'll do it very soon. I'll do it very soon because see, look at this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you cannot see anything from down below here. Okay, because I'm going to go through this step by step. All right, I'm going to draw it step by step because this one here is going to be a little bit complicated. Okay, and yeah, it is rarely you can find the detail for this in any textbooks. So but it is so weird. It is included in the curriculum, and there's no textbook talking about how to draw a natural monopoly diagram in detail. So that's why here this one is just for your reference. Okay, I'm gonna go through this step by step using the iPad. Okay, yeah, so don't worry about this, right? And and once again, when we talk about competition, not only you will see some duplication of resources, so the allocative inefficiency is even worse, right? And also, if you have more than one company inside that market, right? Like we just said, okay, yeah, because now some of the other firms, they're sharing the market share with you. So you cannot really provide that much output where it can fully utilize your economies of scale. Okay, yeah, oh, sorry here. Yeah, economies of scale, right? And yeah, that's why it's not good. Okay, it's always good to have just one company supplying to the entire market. And if we want to draw a diagram of natural monopoly, yeah, well, from here, okay, let's take this as an introduction. You can see, there's not much different than the normal monopoly diagram that you draw. Okay, yeah, like this, right? But there is, yeah, some little tricks that you need to understand when you are drawing the natural monopoly diagram, and we are now going to talk about this in detail. All right, yeah. But before we go to this diagram here, okay, I need to talk about once again the average total cost curve again. Okay, right? Yeah, you will see why. So here, okay, hold on a second. Let me change the screen to the drawing board. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, so you can see the whiteboard, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go. Yeah. So why do we have to talk about the average total cost once again? Well, you will see why. Okay, very soon. Because we want to focus on economies of scale once again. Okay. Yeah. We learned about economies of scale in part one. All right. But when we put economies of scale into market structure, we will see it differently. Okay. So let's say let me draw a very ugly diagram that I can do on iPad. Yep, so output right here. So economies of scale, see, is when you are drawing a U-shaped curve like this, right? Yeah, and you call that curve a long run average total cost, just like that. Okay, yeah, because we know that in the long run, when we are able to either change the size of the company by changing the number of fixed inputs, then we can, you know, enjoy the benefit of economies of scale. Okay, yeah. So that's why, right? The bigger the size, the bigger the economy of scale. Okay. Yeah, of course. When you're getting too big, or when it's getting a little bit inefficient, then you will see the second part of this curve, right? Okay. Yeah. So here, the lowest point. Do you still remember what that is? The lowest point of the long run average total cost. What do we call it? So yeah, right here. What do we call that? Well, you forgot that already. Well, let me give you some hints. do you, do you remember that? Yeah, MES. Well, not really. Well, it's all right. Okay, yeah, there's so much going on in this chapter, and yeah. So here, this one, when we talk about minimum efficient scale, that is the maximum economy of scale that you can get. Okay, right, in the long run, and that's why is right at the lowest point of this curve right here. Okay, right. But when we are talking about market structure, we need to think about one thing. Okay, yeah, is right here the output. Okay, right. Yeah, because we know that different market structures, we have a different level of the capability when it comes to the output that we can make to the market. Okay, so if we use natural monopoly as an example, okay, right? What do you think about the output that they can they can make? Is it going to be not so big, or it's going to be really big when it comes to monopoly? No, natural monopoly. I mean, yeah, when it comes to natural monopoly, the output is going to be very big, right? It's going to be very big. Okay, so they have the capability to produce, okay, a very high output to the entire market. Okay, so if that is the case, when we are drawing the long run average cost curve for something like natural monopoly, okay, we are going to draw it a little bit, uh, like differently. Okay, so because we expect they are able, okay, so here I would say, the word able, they're able to produce, okay, produce a very high output, because the natural monopoly is the only one producing everything to the market. Okay, and that's why they have the capability, they're able to have that much output. They have the right to sell that much output to the entire market. So we know, okay, the long run average cost curve for a natural monopoly, is going to be, okay, taking a long time to get to the bottom. Okay, yeah, when it comes to the cost. So here, when we are drawing an average cost curve, like a long run average cost curve for natural monopoly, is going to be like this. So when you see the line here, okay, yeah, it's keep going on, right? Yeah, it's still decreasing until very far away, okay, from zero, right? So here you can see, if you are the only one in the market, okay, because you're selling your product to the entire market, so it will be more efficient. So once again, when we go back to the concept of natural monopoly, right, it will be more efficient if you can sell your product to as many people as possible. Okay, and that's why the more you sell it, the lower the cost it can be. So yeah, so the MES should be somewhere, okay, on the very right hand side of your diagram. Okay, because of the nature that they have. Okay, because of the nature that they have, right? So here, talk about long run average cost curve, right? So let's say that's a natural monopoly. Okay, right? So now I want you to think about it. Uh, how should we draw a long run average cost curve if there is more competition? If there's more competition, how do you present a long run average cost curve of that company? What do you think? Anyone? So now we know, if there's no competition, then your MES should be on the very right hand side because of the nature itself. Yeah, right. Okay, it's going to be to the left. Okay, it's going to be to the left. And let's say now you're talking about well, let me think about what industry that we can use. Let's say mobile phone services. Okay, yeah, the industry. Okay, we have like an oligopoly structure in that industry. So when you talk about in Hong Kong, there are a few major suppliers of mobile phone services. Okay, so yeah, but at least we yeah, it's not just one. Okay, so we are going to expect there is more competition. When there's more competition, you can see the market share will be distributed to different competitors. Okay, so you, yeah, as a competitor or as a company, you cannot really have that much output. Yeah, compared to natural monopoly. So very soon, so you are going to exploit the benefit of your economies of scale sooner than the one in natural monopoly. Okay, because some of the market share is distributed to some other competitors. Okay, all right, you get that? So if we want to describe that situation, let's use another color. Okay, yeah. Well, we can just draw an average cost curve. Yeah, like this. Something like this. Okay, so yeah, once again, put a label on it. Okay, so when you look at the blue long run average cost curve, that is representing a market with more competitors. Okay, yeah, so if you are a company in that market, when it comes to long run, okay, well, you will still see the benefit from economies of scale, but the lowest point of it is going to be somewhere right here. Okay, yeah, so you can see the difference. Yeah, the distance between, right, the one we have for natural monopoly and the one we have in a market structure which has more competition. Okay, if we still want to, yeah, deduce this logic here, okay, let's say now we are going to a market which has even more competition, then you can expect, right? And when we are drawing that long run average cost curve for a particular company in that market, then we are going to draw something, you know, like this. Okay, yeah. So it's all flexible as long as you are able to present your idea, then you'll be fine. Okay, so when we are talking about a market even with more competition, then yeah, because you can see the market share that your company can have should be way smaller. Okay, because of the competition, because of the level of competition. So at the end, you will be seeing, okay, yeah, your economies of scale will be exploited at an even sooner level. So right here, the green one. Okay? So if we have this concept on the whiteboard, then we know the more competition we have. Okay, so look at the orange arrow on the right top corner. Okay, more competition. Okay, when the competition is increasing, right? So the benefit of your economies of scale will be exploited sooner. Okay, yeah. So that's the idea. Okay, that's the idea based on the concept we have in natural monopoly. In natural monopoly, right? Yeah, because because of the huge fixed cost, it's going to be much more efficient if a company can supply to the entire market so that the cost can be you know like reduced. Okay, at a lower level. Okay, so yeah, right. So that is the concept we have for a long run average cost curve. Okay, when it comes to market structure. All right. Okay, yeah, right, yeah. And based on this concept here, so now we can actually draw a natural monopoly diagram. Okay, right. So yeah, all right. Any questions from here? All right. Yep. So let's go to the next page. Okay. So now when we are trying to draw a natural monopoly diagram, we have to utilize the average cost curve right here. Okay. Wait. it's not showing. Yeah, it's kind of lagging. Yeah. So yeah, when we are drawing a natural monopoly diagram, we have to utilize this red, okay, long run average cost curve. All right, okay, yeah, because we have to use the concept right here, okay, for that diagram. So yeah, we are just going to perform the same methods that we use for a normal monopoly diagram. So once again, um, see here, okay. Well, I think I have to extend this part, right? Yeah, I have to extend the Q. All right, okay, all right. So, well, once again, you have your demand curve, you have your uh, marginal revenue curve, right? D, you have MR right here. Okay, so now we are going to draw, okay, the long run average cost curve first, okay, because it is still an average cost curve, okay, right? But now we're just trying to use the long run average cost curve to explain the idea. Okay, so we know that, right? The economies of scale is going to sustain for a very a long time. Okay, yeah. So the more output that you have, the higher of the economies of scale that you can get. So you can see the average cost curve is going to be very sustainable to the very end, like this. Yeah, like this. Okay. Let's see, is it long range average cost curve? All right. Okay. So we can see the MES is right here. Right, it's right here. Okay. But forget about that cross. Okay. So there you go. All right. Yeah. And you just have to draw the rest of the diagram. Like normally how you draw it for any monopoly diagram. So you have yourself a marginal cost curve. Okay. But I can tell you here, okay, is out of the syllabus, but I can still tell you. All right. You see here, there we have a long run average cost curve. So at the same time, we also have a long run marginal cost curve. Okay, yeah, you don't need to know how to find that curve, but the logic is the same as the marginal cost curve that you used to know. Okay, so yeah, it's still intersecting with the average total cost curve. Okay, at the lowest level. Okay, all right, so it's the same concept. Okay, so this is all you have to know. So when you have this concept with you, so you know it's going to be somewhere right there. Okay, yeah, marginal cost curve. It's going to be like this, right? So let's say that's a long run marginal cost. Okay, you don't need to know how to plot this long run marginal cost curve. Okay, because it's not in the syllabus. Okay, but yeah, you have the same logic here. Okay, so when they are having an intersection right there, okay, right there, yeah, the average total cost curve is at the minimum level. Okay, all right, okay, yeah, right. So from there you have it. So this is your natural monopoly diagram. Okay, it's almost the same as the normal imperfect competition diagram, except you have to focus on this long run average total cost curve first. Okay, in order to show the effect that I want to show very soon. Okay, all right. So see if we do that. So now, so here is the important part. Okay, so if you are a natural monopoly, okay, because of the nature of monopoly, okay, you are going to act like the rest of the monopolies. Okay, yep. and you will follow the profit maximization output. Okay, if you are not regulated. Okay, right? Because natural monopoly, we know that there's only one producer in the market. Okay, so if you're the government, you may be asking yourself, like, yeah, if we should let that natural monopoly, okay, doing what he or she is doing right now, because that is just one company supplying to the entire market, and if no one is regulating that company, okay, there might be something really bad, okay, to the society, okay, because they might rip off the consumers, and well, normally they will, okay, normally they will, because they are going to follow profit maximization, and if they do that, okay, yeah, we just have to use the same old drill that we use. So we just have to find the point where MC is equal to MR. Okay, and yeah, when we see that, right, it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, it's right here, right? See, they are able to have a very low cost, right, but they choose not to utilize that. Okay, so this is what we can see from the average total cost curve. Okay, they can produce the product at a very low price, at a very low cost, but they choose not to do that because they have the market power to control like which price they should sell their product on which quantity. Okay, and here this is what the unregulated natural monopolies they would do. They are going to sell the output at here at the profit maximization level. So let's say that is Q1. Okay, yep. And if we draw the line, okay, right, yeah, till it hits the demand curve, then you will find the price that they are going to sell. Let's say it's P1 over there. Okay, so if you are being unregulated, okay, so let's say you're unregulated. Well, here I'm just gonna use an abbreviation for natural monopoly. So natural monopoly. Okay, let's say NM. All right. So you are going to sell it. Okay, at P1 Q1. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like a storytelling. Okay. Right. So if you are an unregulated natural monopoly, yeah, your instinct tells you to do that because you want to earn as much profit as possible, right? Because you as a businessman, you are going to do that. Okay, right? So let's see like how much profit that they can make from there. So once we got this part here, then we can just look at the average total cost that we will be incur when we are selling at P1. So it's right here. It's right here. Okay, so let's call that C1, right? Because P1, yeah, D is also AR. Okay, so we know P1 is actually the AR that we have when we are selling the quantity at Q1. Okay, so P1 minus C1, and we know that P1 is higher than C1. So we can be confirmed that this box here is your economic profit. Okay, yeah, that's how they earn the maximum profits. Okay, as a natural monopoly. Okay, just like any other monopolies. Okay, all right, yeah. But once again, if you are the government, right, you will be asking the question that I just said. Okay, yeah, you ask yourself, yeah, can we let them do what they like to do? Yeah, should we stop them from doing this? Because right now you see, okay, you see right here, it's not good. They are raising up the price, okay, and they are controlling the quantity, okay, yeah. Supposing that our citizens, they can enjoy this particular good at a much lower price, right? Based on the nature of the natural monopoly. But now they are not doing that because they want to maximize the profit. Okay? And that's why, as a government, we want to do something about it. We want to regulate those natural monopolies. Okay? Yeah. We are not going to increase the competition based on the nature of natural monopoly. Okay? We know competition is not desirable for natural monopoly. So, as a government, if you want to do something about it, you are not going to impose some policy that will increase the competition in that market, because that is just unwise. It's not wise. It's not a wise thought, or it's not a wise move. Okay, so we are going to do something else. What do you think we are going to do in order to, benefit the society? So guess what the government will do in this case? That's one good idea. Yeah, force them to produce at MES, right? But think about it from the government point of view. Yeah, when you are the government, where do you want the industry to achieve? Like what objectives? What objective would you want the market to achieve when you are the government? Yeah, it's going to be something like price ceiling. Okay, but once again, when you go back to the objective, when you are the government, like what do you want to see from the market? What is the big term for that? What do you want to see as a government? When, yeah, allocative efficiency, exactly. Okay, yeah. So I would say, yeah, you have the right idea, but when you want to think about it more specifically, there you have it, allocative efficiency. So that is what the government wants. Okay, they want, yeah, as a government, we want, everyone in the society, okay, yeah, to be happy about, the output that they are being distributed. Okay, all right. So we are going to find, okay, an output where all the stakeholders, okay, they will see the most efficient output, okay, from their point of view, right? And that is allocative efficiency, okay. When all the surplus, like consumer surplus or producer surplus, they are being maximized. Okay, all right, yeah. And from this diagram here, we can find it somewhere. Well, not somewhere. It's exactly. Well, let me use another color. Let's use blue. Yeah. So MB, when MB is equal to MC, then you can find it, right? With that being said, it's going to be here. Here. Yeah. Yeah. Right here. Okay, right? Yeah. See? MC equals MB, right? Because here it's also MB, right? So if we do that, so let's take a look at this. Okay, if we are the government, we are going to say, hey, you cannot do what you want. Okay, you cannot do P1 Q1. I'm gonna ask you to do it at P2 Q2. P2 Q2. All right, because there, okay, is where, okay, our citizens will get the benefits. Okay, yeah, at the highest level. All right, yeah. So this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. Okay, and that's why they are going to give them regulations. You cannot sell it at P1 and you must sell it at P2. But what do you see if they are selling it at P2? What can you see from the diagram? If they really are forced to sell it at P2, what will happen to that natural monopoly? What do you see? Yeah, there's an economic loss. Okay, right? It's that simple. Okay, look at that. If we, same thing that we do, just draw a line. Okay, right here. Yep. So you see, once again, P2 is also the AR at Q2 if they are producing it at Q2. All right. So we want to see at Q2 where will be the average cost. Okay, at. And if we draw that line, then we can find the average cost at Q2 will be C2 up here. Yeah, sorry, it's just lagging. Yeah, just give it a second. Yeah, C2 right there. Okay, and now you know at Q2 the average cost is higher than the average revenue. So C2 is higher than P2. So if you are being regulated, okay, if you're being regulated, so you might have to sell it at P2, Q2, P2, Q2, yeah, up there, right? Okay, and you will see there is a loss if you do that right here in this area. So let's call that a loss, right? Yeah, and if the natural monopoly, they are aware of this, well, yeah, it's still loading. Yeah, the screen is still loading, but you're gonna expect. Okay, I'm going to shade the entire rectangle over there. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Okay, right. But if the monopoly they are aware of this, they are going to say, hey, look, if you do that, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Okay, I'm out. Right? Because there's no point for me to work in this market if you are forcing me to do it at P2 because I'm losing my money, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm a business. I have to earn some profits. If you are not letting me having the profit, then yeah, maybe I'll just go. I'll just leave the market. Okay, so in the long run, if they do that, yeah, if the government do that, then yeah, that natural monopoly will leave the company eventually, for sure. Okay, right? Yeah. So what do you think a government can do to stop them leaving the market? If yeah, if this is how we do it as a government, if we have to force them to set the price at P2, and we don't want them to leave the market, so what do you think we can do as a government? Any ideas? How do we compensate the loss that they make? Yeah, subsidy. Exactly. Okay. So for this area, okay, for this blue area here, okay, if we are the government, we want to fix this. Okay. Yeah. So let's say now we are forcing them to sell it at P2. Okay, and we don't want them to leave the market. So we might give them a subsidy. All right, a subsidy that is worth that much of the loss to keep them, okay, staying in the market, right? Yeah, to keep them, to keep staying in the market. Okay, all right. Yep. Or there's another way a government can do. You know, yeah, we just have to compromise with each other. Okay, so instead of forcing them to set the price at P2, there's another price that we as a government we can force them to set it. Guess where it can be? Yeah, except for P2, there is also one more point. As a government, we can ask them to set it there. Okay, as a yeah, yeah, as a compromised deal. Do you know where we can do that? Yeah, so now the government is not trying to be that harsh, and yeah, normal profit, exactly. Okay, so when we want to find normal profit, we want to find it at, you see, when AR is equal to ATC. Okay, so which is here. Can you see that? Can you see that little cross, red cross over there? Yeah. When ATC is equal to AR, then you can get a normal profit. So, once again, when you are having normal profit, that's when you have no gain and no loss. Okay. But yeah, even though you are not able to achieve allocative efficiency at this point, but you can observe from here. So let's say this is what we call P3. Okay, but even though if you are selling it at P3, you are not able to achieve allocative efficiency, but the improvement has been a lot. Okay, you can see the improvement. Look at the distance from P1 to P3. That's a lot. Okay, even though you are not achieving allocative efficiency, like when you are selling it at P2, there is still a big improvement. Okay, and if you are doing it, if you are forcing them to do it at P3, you don't have to use subsidies. Okay, yeah, so you can save that opportunity cost for something else. Okay, so yeah, so when it comes to government policies, there are so many variations. There's so many alternatives that they can do. Okay, right? Yeah, at the end we are trying to see which one will make the highest benefits to the society as a whole. Okay, all right. So right, so this is what you can see from a natural monopoly diagram. Okay, right? And when you look at the red color part and the blue color part, this is where when the government is decided to step in. Okay, right? But when you just look at the orange part, that is the nature of the natural monopoly. Okay, so the orange part, yeah, is just how a natural monopoly works in any market. And when the government steps in, then you will see the blue color and the red color part. Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, so when you are doing it at a P3, yeah, so you will have a normal profit. Okay, right? Okay, yeah, just like this. All right, okay, yeah. So there you go. Right. So this one here is kind of complicated. Okay, so you will not see it very often in your exam. Yeah, but it is in the curriculum. Okay, so do expect, well, maybe for the very last year of this curriculum here, yeah, because you are the last batch of students who are doing this current curriculum right here. Maybe they're gonna give you a big gift, and that is the question you might see in your paper one. Okay, and if you are being asked a question like this, then you must know how to draw a natural monopoly. And if they ask about, yeah, like how do you regulate natural monopoly, then this is how you can explain it using the diagram, and then you, yeah, make your written explanation as well. Okay, yeah, so hopefully you are not going to see this question in your exam, but if you do, right, at least yeah, I have taught you once. Okay, if you have any confusion regarding this part here, yeah, feel free to ask me anytime. Okay, all right, yeah, and if you are interested on how to come up with the long run marginal cost, yeah, I can put a video on Google Classroom later on. Yeah, to show you. It's a very quick video to show you like the logic behind this long run marginal cost, like how people plot this marginal cost curve right here. Yeah, but it's not in the curriculum. Okay, so yeah, once again, yeah, long run marginal cost curve, or just marginal cost curve, they have the same. Okay, they are the same, right? Yeah, you are going to draw like a Nike tick. Okay, and yeah, the intersection is always okay at the lowest point of the average cost curve. All right, so this is what you have to know. Okay, this is what you have to know. All right, okay, yep. So there you go. All right, so natural monopoly, and so right here, this big chunk of work right here, and also something about economies of scale that you have to realize. Okay, yeah, a little bit more detail about economies of scale, right? That you need to know. So both of them. Okay, yeah. So here, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So that's all for that. All right. So that's all for that. And yeah. So when you take a look at this, right? This diagram here, this one right here, all right, is just the same as the one that I drew. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. And well, we can actually give them names when it comes to the government regulations. All right. Yeah. So, well, we will talk about that later. Okay. But here, yeah, it's just for your reference. Okay. Yeah. They're the same. They're the same as, the things that I just taught. All right. Okay. So that's monopoly, right? Natural monopoly. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, yeah. And, if you still remember, when we talk about market failure in the HL contents, okay, one of the market failures is the abuse of monopoly power. Okay, yeah, and I have asked you guys to uh, do a homework, right? That is, I think that was a research to see, okay, in the real life scenario, like what companies they abuse the monopoly power. And yeah, all of you did a very good job on finding the real life example. Some of you gave me the example of Microsoft. Some of you gave me the example of Google. Yeah, and some of you even gave me the example of Cathay Pacific. Yeah, like a few decades ago. Okay, yeah, that was a very cool example. Yeah, very interesting example. Yeah, and also there's one very classic example that you guys gave me. So this is the one. Yeah, I don't know if you have heard about this. Yeah, so this Daraprim, okay, is a drug. Okay, is a drug. Is a very life-saving drug. Okay, but in America, right? This guy right here, this guy, yeah, Martin. Okay, this is his company, Turing Pharmaceutical. Okay, all right. So when this company purchased the right of Daraprim, okay, Martin increased it. Okay, increased its price from 13, yeah, $13.50 all the way up to 750 cents per tablet. Yeah, not even a box per tablet. So you can see like a few thousand% price hike that we can see from here. Okay, yeah, and yeah, from here you can see a monopoly can be as bad as a company like this one right here. Okay, so now I would like you to yeah, watch this video. Yeah, it's a very quick video about this case right here, so you can see how inefficient a monopoly can be. So go watch this video. Okay, so yeah, I believe you have watched that video, and you can see from that news like 5 years ago, right? You can tell Martin has no shame about what he did right there. Okay, it's all about profit because when if they were using the old price, there will be non-profitable. That's what he said. Okay, and based on the news, you can tell that drug is a life-saving drug. And if you are being a monopoly and if you are being a bad monopoly, right? Yeah, it's not good for the society. Okay, right? Yeah, you are going to do it at a very inefficient way as a monopoly. But at the same time, you can still earn a very big profit. So, that's why sometimes the government they have to step in and control those monopolies. And I can tell you, Martin Shkreli is now in the jail. This guy is now in the jail, right? But the funny thing is not because of this right here, not because of the abusing of a monopoly power. It's because of last time when I watched it on news, I think it was because of some kind of security fraud. Yeah. Well, I didn't dig any deeper in this issue, but yeah, good for him. Okay, I think he kind of deserved it, right? Even though it's not because of the abusing of monopoly power. So you can see sometimes in our society, even with all those anti-monopoly policies or legislation, it's so difficult to catch those people into jail. Okay, to give them a reasonable punishment. It's so difficult, right? Even when he's in the jail, it's not because of what he did right here. Okay, right? So yeah. The whole point here is so not efficient if you are being a monopoly and when you are trying to maximize your profit, and yeah, and he is not the only case. When you talk about this another drug here, EpiPen. Yeah, I don't know if you know about this EpiPen. Usually is for some kind of very severe allergies. Okay, so if you are very allergic to nuts, or if you're very allergic when you are being stung by a bee, then you will need that drug over there to save your life. But at the same time, this company here, yeah, they just did the same thing as what Martin did, and at the end, so many people they could have been saved, and because of what they did, right? Yeah, they lost their life. They lost their lives because of that. So yeah, right. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very inefficient. Okay, so next week we are going to talk about the efficiency of monopolies. Okay, all right. So yeah, that's all for today. Okay, and I will see you guys next week. If you are interested in this case, go to find some more research on EpiPen. All right. Yeah. So yeah. Let's go to the next class. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.